Hi, it's Mr. Barr, and I'm going to do the work for simplifying geometric formulas. Let's get going on this. Okay, all work must be done in the math notebook. Write down the original sequence, do the problem, put correct answer into Edulastic, check your answer with the check answer button. If you get it wrong, try to fix it. I understand the instructions. And Mr. Barr may randomly choose to check student notebooks. If you don't follow the instructions, you won't get the points. I get that. I understand that also. Okay, so here's our first one. So in your notebook, you've got to write down the original sequence. I know that it's what? A sub 1 ratio n minus 1. That's the generic formula for the arithmetic or the geometric. Okay, so right here, the value of the first term is 400. The ratio is 1/4 n minus 1. So there's the original one, the unsimplified. Now to simplify it, the simplified version is this. It's a sub n equals a sub 0 ratio raised to the n. What I'm doing is I'm just taking it back a step. So if I took 400 back a step, it would be 1600, 1/4 to the n. So there's the simplified one. Let's get that in there. So it already has the a sub n equals 400 parentheses 1/4 or 0.25. It'll accept either one. I'm going to go with 0.25 raised to the n minus 1. And then the simplified is 1600. And look, this one I'll do it as 1/4 just to show you that it really will work. Let's check those answers. There it is. That's how they work. Let's do another one. All right, so this one, a sub 1, value of the first term, which is 9, parentheses, the ratio is 3, raised to the n minus 1. Value, now I take it back a notch, so it was 92781, so if I take it back a notch, I'm at 3. Parentheses, the ratio is still the same, raised to the n. Value of the first term is 1000. Ratio here is 1/2 or 0.5. Raised to the n minus 1. Simplified, so I take it back, so it was 125 to 250 to 500 to 1000. That takes it to a 2000. Same ratio. This time I'll put it in as a fraction though. Raised to the n. Value of the first term, 40. Ratio is 60 divided by 40, that's 1.5. Raised to the n minus 1. So now I've got to take it back. So this was, it was going up by 1.5, up by 1.5. So I've got to take it down by 1.5 in the opposite direction. So this is 40 divided by 1.5, which takes me to 26.66. It says round to the nearest tenth, so that's going to be 26.7. Same ratio, 1.5 raised to the n power. Value of the first term is 90. Ratio is 1/3. So I can either leave it as a fraction. I'll go with a fraction on this. If I'm going to go with a decimal, it would be 0.33 nearest tenth. I guess 0.3 then. We'll go with the decimal on this one. So I've got to back it out. So each time it was going down by a third, divided by 3, divided by 3, divided by 3. But now I'm going to take it up the other direction, so it's going to be multiplied by 3. So it's going to be 90 times 3. So 270. Ratio, it says nearest tenth, so I'm going to go with just a 0.3 and see if it works to the n. Yep, it took it. Value of the first term is 10. Parentheses, the ratio, what's that? 12 divided by 10 is my ratio. 12 divided by 10 is 1.2 raised to the n minus 1. I don't know why I have round to the nearest tenth there. I didn't have to do any rounding. And then working in the opposite direction, so this is, it's 10 divided by 1.2, which would take me to 8.3. So the value of the zero term is 8.3. There's the rounding. 1.2 raised to the n. Value of the first term is 35. Ratio is 5 divided by 35. 5 divided by 35, which takes me to 0.14 with the rounding. And raised to the n minus 1. Okay, so normally I'm multiplying it by 0.14, but to get to the zero term, I've got to divide it by 0.14. So this is 35 divided by 0.14, which takes me to 250. 250, same ratio, 0.14, raised to the n power. Okay, I'll have to go check this. I'm not sure why it's not accepting it. That's number 8. I'll figure it out later before you guys actually do this, number 8. Round to the nearest. So if I plug in a 0, out comes a 250. If I plug in a 1, out comes a 35. Yeah, I feel like it's correct. Okay, no big deal. We'll figure it out. Value of the first term is 100. Ratio is 102 divided by 100, which is 1.02, raised to the n minus 1. So normally I'm multiplying by 1.02, 1.02, but to go the opposite direction, I divide by 1.02, so 100 divided by 1.02 takes me to 98.04. 98.04 ratio raised to the n power. Value of the first term is 100. Ratio is 97 divided by 100, which is 0.97. Raised to the n minus 1. So normally I'm multiplying by 0.97, but to go the opposite direction I divide it. So 100 divided by 0.97 takes me to 100 and 103 point nearest 09 with the rounding. There it is, simplified. Value of the first term, 106 divided by 100, so 1.06. Here's my ratio to the n minus 1. So normally I'm multiplying by 1.06. To go backwards, I divide by 1.06. Takes me to 94.34 with the correct rounding. So number 8. What do I have it as? Look at it. 245. So it was dividing by 7. Instead, I should be multiplying by 7. 35 times 7. It's 245. Where did I get that 250 from? Is it because of rounding? So 35 divided by 0.14. Interesting. It's wrong because of the rounding. So I rounded it and then I used the rounded answer to find the next answer, and that messed it up. All right, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might add it in. Yeah, I'll fix it, okay? Thanks for watching.